So look, guys, I know y'all already know who Andrew Tate is and Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue was the woman who slept with 1,000 men. And this was their podcast interview. Take a look at this and we're going to talk.
This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism. That's destructive.
You think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years.
I don't understand why men sit here and try and lecture you about it. I don't understand why men sit here and say you shouldn't do it. It's your body, your choice, right? This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism. I don't understand why men sit here and try and lecture you about it. I don't understand why men sit here and say you shouldn't do it. It's your body, your choice, right? This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism. Traditionally, masculinely ruled world, a man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that. The men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared and they complained about the patriarchy and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices. So she's making her own choice. That's a fantastic thing. I actually have a lot of respect for you because you own it and you're honest about it.
What if it was your daughter?
I never said my daughter's her own person. I said women want to be their own people. But my point is, there's so many women who go to Magaluf for a weekend and do something very similar, and then they come back to England and get with some fucking guy and start asking for presents from him and talking about how they deserve a traditional relationship and they want to get married and they want a Christmas present and all this shit. Most women do exactly what Bonnie does. I don't see you any different than most women. That's why I said earlier we're in the end times. So how would God judge Bonnie? I don't know. Would he judge her? Or would he judge the society which created her? I'm not sure. But a society of absolute promiscuity leads to a whole bunch of problems that come later down the line because men lose vested interest in the society with the promiscuity. If there's a kid that exists, and I'm sure he's mine, I have a vested interest. But if that woman's promiscuous and I'm not 100% sure that child is mine or not, then I have a less of a vested interest. And yeah, there's DNA tests and there's certain things, but before modern science, there was none of that. The only thing that gave me a vested interest in the child or the woman was the fact that my paternity was secured and it was guaranteed, and it was guaranteed through sexual exclusivity, which is why we've tried very hard to counter promiscuity for so long, because men lose all interest in family, by extension, all interest in society, when we do not have guaranteed paternity. But once again, who am I to tell society how to be? The enemy of the world are not women or whores or the good girls or the bad girls, anything. The enemy of the world are the simps. It's simps that did all this shit. It's simpy ass men who listen to women's opinions who did all of this crap. And here we are.
And a lot of them simps, I guess, are going to sleep with Bonnie, aren't they?
Well, they're all in love with her and I don't blame them because they're fucking losers. No disrespect.
No, yeah, so I don't find him as losers. Like, before I did judge him, like, before I spent hours and hours chatting to him and stuff, I think that's weird, or why have they requested that? But you know what? I'm saying not.
So you used to judge the men you slept with?
Until I actually educated myself on it. Yeah, and that's like most things. You judge things until you educate yourself.
And what have you learned about men sleeping with thousands of them?
That a lot of the time it's the women's fault. Before they was in my queue. And a lot of these men, it's not because they don't love their family, don't love their wife and their kids. That's one thing. Having sex is separate.
True.
And also a lot of these men, it's just sex to them.
True.
They're not asking for an emotional connection. And a lot of them sometimes just feel lonely because the world lets them down in loads of ways. They're made to work. They're made to provide. They're made to look after the kids, still empty the dishes. Like, they're made to do so much and they feel lonely. They can't go and say to their wife, you know what, work was hard today. Or they've always got something to complain about, whereas I'm not that. I'm not like every other woman. They get to come to me and I'll listen to them.
And I understand what she's saying. Basically, she is saying that most men feel like their purpose is just to go, work. And they're saying when the men come home, they're not appreciative. Appreciate it. So I understand what she's saying when she's saying that. Regardless, however, my views is on what she does or how you feel about her. Think about it. That's why some men do go mess with S workers. Sometimes it's the attention. It really is. And Andrew Tate wasn't lying about that when he was talking about when you got with a woman, you had kids and you were guaranteed in your mind that kid was yours. And now with a lot of people just having NTX all over the place, a lot of men are taking care of kids that's not even theirs. Think about that for a minute.
And I will cater to their fetish. As long as it's within my boundaries, I will do that for them. Because I'm like, I want to do that. I want to help you. I want to make your day a bit better because your wife isn't doing that. So I want to do that.
Would you not say, though, Andrew, that's a weak man that's going to Bonnie?
I think men take what they can get. The men who are going to Bonnie perhaps do not have the options I have. But then, like me, if I go to Saint-Tropez, Monaco, Dubai, the most beautiful women in the world are begging for me all day, every day. When I go to Dubai, all the women that you men are Instagramming, and she's ignoring you, is chasing me because I've got the money and the status, which is what they want. So it's the circle of life. Do I?
And he's not lying. All he's saying is that every man does not have options the way that he might have options. Every man exercises their options differently. And of course, as quote unquote, as a higher value man, as he may be perceived to be, have more money and different things, I'm pretty sure he might have access to different women that some men don't have access to. Sorry, that's true.
Blame men for taking what they can get? No. If there's a group of men around and there's a whole bunch of jizz, they should be too straight to pull that off. But one-on-one, if they can handle the time vortex, if they can get, a calculator and work it out, it is what it is. Sex used to result in children. That was the point of sex. And now we have the capability of having sex without children, which is a relatively new experiment. This is the Western world we've built. We've built a Western world where men are just tax slaves and women are the most important things on the planet who can do whatever they want. And they're always permanent victims / always permanently right. And they're girl bosses and we're dumbasses. And we just have to build the roads and build the buildings and die in ditches. And this is all a woman's world and it's a matriarchy. So that's the world we live in. Let women do whatever the fuck they want. Cool. And the government can raise the kids. And this is the new society we've built, the new utopia.
And where is he lying at when he says that? That is the society that we are building. Men can't say anything. Women can say anything they want, regardless if it's right or wrong. Men have no rights even over their own children, as far as in a lot of women's eyes. And he's even talking about how this is how we set it up. And you might not like what I'm saying, but tell me where he is wrong at on that part of it.
This false bullshit of male sexual exclusivity is actually creating most of the problems in the world today. When we say to women that a man should be loyal to only her, that's what's creating all of the divorces, all of the breakups, all of the women who run from man to man to man to man trying to find a loyal one. None of them are ever loyal, so then they end up just chasing the bag and chasing money. But all of this comes from this bullshit idea that men have ever been sexually exclusive. Men have never been sexually exclusive. Women were to guarantee paternity. Men, since the dawn of time, every king, every sultan have had harems, they have had concubines. Every single man who could, did. The men who can't say they wouldn't and say they don't want it because they can't. It's like a broke man saying he wouldn't drive a Ferrari. So I would argue, even though I don't have the answers, the best thing we can do is start from a foundational base of truth and honesty, which is why I say I respect Bonnie for being truthful and honest. It's much better to be truthful and honest like she is than do what these other women are doing, which is pretend they love me to get some money. And
I understand that too. But don't get me wrong, a woman who sleeps with 1,000 men, I'm sorry, but you are definitely for the streets, for the cobblestone, for the ocean. But I would not want my brother dating a woman who has slept with 1,000 men in one day, because you are an OF model. No, thank you. I understand what he's saying. He's saying he respects her honesty. And I get that. That's still straight trash to me. I'm sorry. This is the type of behavior that's going on. Like, what's going to be next? The first girl did 100. Now she did 1,000. What's going to be the next go when it comes to that? I mean, where does it stop? Regardless if she's honest or not. That's all I'm saying.
When they don't get it. That's the true destructive society. The truly destructive female is not Bonnie Blue. It's the woman who cries because she doesn't get the money she wants. It's the woman who takes a man to divorce court and liquidates his empire because she's unhappy that he had a fling on a holiday trip with his boys. Those are the toxic, destructive women. It's the women who belittle the man who goes to work every day to pay the rent, to pay for the house, and won't suck his, like Bonnie describes. When you want to have a man go out and work all day every day and give up his life, getting up early in the morning to carry bins around so that you can eat food, and when he comes home, you have no admiration or respect for him. That's destructive.
And I can understand it too. Some women, men go to work all day long, right? Come in the house, and then they gotta face a lot of these women. They do. He already been fighting the world. And now he's coming in the door and he has to fight you too? That's a lot. So I do understand that. And then the part where he talked about how women cry grape. And you know what I mean when I say grape. He's not lying. How many lawsuits we got now? And then, even with Trevor Bauer, the baseball player, he had a $60 million contract where allegedly lied on him. There's so many cases like that where a woman can just say, oh, he did this, he did that, without even any evidence. You would lose your contract. So when he says the women are ruling the world, girl boss, some of that is part of that. Like, how do you get away with doing stuff like that? How? There should be jail time when you falsely accuse somebody. I'm sorry. You should go to jail. I don't know no other way of saying it. Because if they don't have any kind of judgments or backlash for the things that they are lying about, how many more men are going to be accused? I mean, seriously. I mean, the scamming season, scamming is up, and that's one of the biggest scams ever. So when he says it's a woman's world, that's what he's talking about. Now, of course, he was in some situations himself. I don't know anything about them. I don't know if he did, if he didn't do it. I will say a lot of his wordplay is very strong. Some people love it. Some people hate it. It's probably what made him popular. I mean, people do all kind of stuff for fame, right? Look at her over there. And look at him. He's going to say things. He's going to use tactics and say the most outrageous stuff to cause conversation. That's just what people do. So when he is acting like he is agreeing with Bonnie, but he's not agreeing with her. She's actually proving him right on a lot of different things. He's basically saying a lot of women do what Bonnie Blue is doing. It's just done in a different way. That's what he's saying. And she might think that he's agreeing with her. That's not what he's really doing. He's saying he respects, quote unquote, her gangster, as far as how she's just saying who she is and she don't care. But that doesn't help us with society. I'm gonna need these women to care. And when you use your body like that and you don't care, something ain't right. Something missing. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about everything that he talked about? Even when he talked about people getting divorced and he's talking about how a lot of men don't believe in monogamy. Yes, I do believe a lot of men don't believe in monogamy. There are some that do. Now, this is what I will say. A lot of women are quick to divorce over them cheating. And I will say this. You gonna be leaving everybody, okay? You gonna be leaving everybody. Look, Cardi B. If you only got married and as soon as they cheat and you up out there, you gonna take the kids, pack up the dog and everything, just leave? You gonna be leaving everybody.